So let's start with the file system implementation. Earlier I have, in my earlier video, I have shown you what is a layered file system and how the partition look like and what happens when a partition is formatted with some file system. Here I'm summarizingly tell you the first performance issue that we are going to look into is called allocation methods. So what is that? I will explain. So disk is divided into partitions. Partitions are of two types, I said. One is what do you call it as bootable partition, primary partition, and the other is extended. Primary partitions are bootable, extended partitions are non-bootable. Whether it is bootable or non-bootable, fundamentally this is a structure that gets created. We will have boot control block, partition control block, directory structure. This is what I have described earlier, and the other are called user data blocks, Whether it is file, directory, or anything which you stored on disk will be stored in the form of data blocks. So allocation methods imply how are we going to allocate these blocks to the file. If I want to store a file has to be stored in the form of blocks. So what blocks are to be allocated to the file, that is called allocation methods. So before I start the allocation methods, let me tell you that every block, suppose if I say this is a disk block, I write in short DB. Every disk block have two important parameters. One is called disk block address, DBA. I'll write disk block address. This is generally given in bits. And the other is called disk block size. It's called disk block size. Generally, disk block size is measured in bytes and disk block address is given in bits. Like as an example, suppose if I say disk block address is 10 bits and disk block size is 1 KB, then this means that the disk block will have how many the disk will have how many blocks? Disk block address is 10 bits. So with 10 bit address we can access 2 power 10 blocks, means which is equal to 1024, you call it as 1K, and each block is of size 1 KB. So therefore total disk space, disk size will be nothing but number of blocks 1024 into size of each block 1 KB, which is equal to 1 MB. So this is how we can calculate the disk block size. So again you can see, again I am repeating, every disk block will have two parts, disk block address and disk block size. Address is given in bits and disk block size is given in bytes. So using disk block address and disk block size we can compute what is called disk capacity, or what do you call it as disk space. So this is the concept with regard to blocks. Now the question is, how are we going to what are the different allocation methods? Okay, just I will tell the classification. Fundamentally there are three allocation methods, just like memory. Allocation methods are of three types. Number one, contiguous. Number two, linked, and number three, indexed allocation. So three allocation methods, three in part. This is, kindly remember, 10 mark question. You can definitely expect a question on this 10 mark question. So this is a very, very important topic, allocation methods. 10 mark question can be expected. We can also expect a numerical problem on this. So essentially I want everybody to get familiarized very well with these allocation methods. What is contiguous, what is linked, and what is indexed. So let's first start with contiguous allocation. Okay. So for that, again I will go back to my previous diagram where I have shown you the partition structure. I will draw the diagram again. This is my partition structure. We have boot control block, partition control block. I described this earlier video, kindly watch it if you have not seen. And this directory structure, and these are user data blocks. Previous diagram you can see. So these data blocks, if I slightly enlarge, Okay, so let's me take a different ink, slightly enlarge. So let's say this is one block, this is another block, another block. Like that I take few blocks. Every block is given a number starting from 0. This is number 0, block number 0, block number 1, block number 2, block number 3, like that it goes. I number all the blocks and so on, so on. Okay. So what is going to happen under contiguous allocation? So first let us introduce contiguous allocation. Contiguous allocation means what blocks are to be allocated for a file. Say for example, contiguous means continuous, sequential. Say for example, slightly scroll it up. Okay, I'll take like this. I have a file, let's say 5 KB. If I say disk block size DBS is 1 KB, so size of the file to be stored on disk is 5 KB, block size is 1 KB. So how many blocks are needed? Number of blocks, 5 blocks. So how these 5 blocks are to be allocated? So under contiguous allocation, these 5 blocks which you are going to allocate should be contiguous. So what will be the directory structure? Looking here for contiguous allocation, you can visualize here. Here I will show the directory structure. This is directory. Okay. So it will have entries like this: file name, starting address, starting block, and length or count of blocks. Like my file name is k.c. This file is called k.c. k.c. What is any block? You can start from anywhere. Like for example, I start from block number 5, block number 3. How many blocks are needed? 5 blocks. So that means what blocks are actually in use? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these contiguous 5 blocks starting from 3 are allocated to the file. This is called contiguous. So whenever you want to allocate store a file, you have to find out what is its length and how many blocks are needed. So whatever count of number of blocks are needed, contiguous blocks from the disk has to be allocated. I have another file, let us say a.c. Let's say its starting address is block number 9. 4 blocks are in use. So what blocks are in use starting from 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is contiguous. So I hope you understood what is the allocation method, contiguous. Then what is the performance issues of contiguous allocation? Performance issues. The performance issue is that can it suffer from internal fragmentation? Yes, it can suffer from internal fragmentation. What does it mean? If the last block is not fully utilized, then definitely the space left over in the last block will go waste in the form of internal fragmentation. Can it have external fragmentation? Yes, it can have external fragmentation. How? Suppose if you look at the disk structure, user blocks, if some 2 blocks are free here, 3 blocks are free here, 1 block is free here, so put together I have 10 free blocks, but all 10 are not contiguous, they are scattered. So if I want to create a file now with 10 blocks, I cannot do it. Why? Because they are not contiguous. So all those 10 blocks are going waste. So that wastage is called external fragmentation. Am I right? So that is called external fragmentation. So therefore this suffers from external fragmentation. What is the type of access supported by this mechanism? The type of access supported is sequential access, not random, sequential, and both random or direct. So that is the type of access. Fourth, can we increase the existing file size? Increase existing file size. Can we increase it? No. because this file k.c is in occupancy from block number 3 5 blocks, and this is from 9 4 blocks. So later if I want to add 2 more blocks to it, those 2 blocks should be contiguous. If they are not contiguous, I cannot add it. I hope you are getting my point. So what I am trying to say, if you look at the diagram, you can understand. Block K, file k.c is in using 3 4 5 6 and 7. Then block file a.c is using from 9. So only 8 is free. Okay, not 2, 9 is not free. So I cannot increase 2 by 2 blocks. So therefore, flexibility in terms of increasing file size is difficult here. So this is inflexible. These are the drawbacks of contiguous allocation. So what is contiguous allocation, how is it done, and what are the issues involved in that, I have presented to you. So to overcome these issues, we can think of going in for what we call it as linked allocation. So let me write it here. Next is linked allocation. Second approach is linked allocation. You can also call it as non-contiguous. You can also call it as non-contiguous. So what is going to happen in this non-contiguous allocation? So suppose, for example, I will take a sample partition data blocks. So these are the blocks of the disk, as I told earlier for contiguous. Again, I am redrawing as a different case. Is block number 0, block number 1, block number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that it goes, and so on. So what is the directory structure for non-contiguous allocation? Let me take a different ink now. Check it. So like earlier occasion, we will have file name, which file, and the starting address and the ending address. What is the file? Again, like previous occasion, k.c. So file k.c, remember, like previous occasion, need 5 blocks. Starting address may be anything, like for example block number 2. So after storing in block number 2, the next need not be contiguous. Like earlier occasion it was contiguous, but here it is non-contiguous, linked. Maybe it can point to 5. So it is going to create a linked list. 5 will point to next 7. 7 will point to next 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Next will point to maybe 3. So therefore the last. So real linked list is created among blocks. So what is the last block? Block number 3. So starting block, ending block. Starting block is 2, ending block is 3. The remaining blocks are accessible, which are non-contiguous. 2, 5, 7, 9, 3. Non-contiguous. We form it in the form of a linked list. That is why it is called linked allocation. So this is linked allocation. Earlier we have seen contiguous allocation. Now I have presented to you linked allocation. All right. Then what are the performance issues with linked allocation? Number 1, I am writing in short, internal fragmentation present. But here there is no external fragmentation. Why? Because any free block present anywhere can be utilized. No external fragmentation. Can we increase the existing file size? Yes, because it is non-contiguous. Wherever the file is, whichever block you want to allocate, you can allocate it through this link. So therefore, increasing file size is always flexible. And then finally, what is the type of access supported by this mechanism? The type of access supported is only sequential. This is a drawback. It cannot support random or direct access. So it supports only sequential access, which is slow. So this is a drawback. So internal fragmentation is there, no external fragmentation. Increasing existing file size is flexible. It supports only sequential access because it is a linked list. So therefore, that's a drawback of this. So this is the comparison between contiguous and non-contiguous or linked allocation. Okay. So tomorrow you can expect a question based on this, like compare contiguous and non-contiguous file allocation method, 5 marks. Or they may ask you to explain all the three allocation methods, out of which I have explained two of them. Then we have the third allocation method, which is a combination of contiguous and linked, and that is called index allocation. So we'll see the index allocation in the next video. Okay, right.